गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Om. Viva. Today is Sugama. Okay. Sugama day 19th Friday. So yeah, Sugama only. अध्यासं पुरस्कृत्य सर्वे प्रमाण प्रमेय व्यवहाराः, all the vyavahara comes into effect only within adhyasa. This is the very, very important thing. If the vyavahara is due to adhyasa, it is easy to correct it by knowledge. That means vyavahara is not real. It is only adhyasta. Adhyasta means Atma is not subject to vyavahara. Something Atma wrongly understood. In that misunderstood Atma alone there is a vyavahara. In the real Atma there is no vyavahara. It's like take the example of rope and snake. The real rope is not available for vyavahara. Vyavahara means perceiving it, taking it to be snake, perceiving it to be snake, getting frightened and running away. I am afraid of it, I run away. All this happens within the understanding of snake alone. I perceive it as snake, then I am afraid, then I run away. So all these things happen within the misunderstanding of snake. But the rope doesn't drive you away. Rope doesn't frighten you. Rope doesn't drive you away. Or this example is not so perfect. Let us take the dream, example of dream. In dream, you perceive something. You see the snake or a tiger. Let us say you see a tiger in the forest. In dream, you are afraid and you run away. So the tiger, perception of tiger, being afraid of it and running away from it, all that is within the dream. Similarly, within adhyasa, all vyavahara takes place. Kartrutva, bhoktrutva, pramatrutva. That means all our knowledges, all our activity, all our experiences. So in these things, not only all our knowledges, first you see all our knowledges, all our activity, all our experiences. Not only the knowledges, the activity and experiences. Even the one who knows it, one who is subject to, that means one who is a subject of knowing all these things, one who is gaining the knowledge, using the knowledge, is the very knower of all the knowledges. One who gains knowledges, acquires the knowledge, uses the knowledge, the very knowership, pramatrutvam. The pramatru is also within adhyasa. Kartru is within adhyasa. Bhoktru, not only the experiences, one who is subject to experience is also. This is very important, you note it, because I have suffered a lot for this. They always talk of experiences are mithya, but the experiencer is also, bhoktru also is mithya, they won't say. Worldly, not only the worldly knowledge is mithya, the knower of worldly knowledges, pramatrutvam, is also mithya. Pramatrutvam is also mithya jnana kalpitam. That is also adhyasta. Not only karma is adhyasta, Even the Kartru is Adhyastha. It is the Sakshi of Kartru, he alone is a Satyam. Sakshi of Pramatrutvam, one who is mistaken for Pramatrutvam. The Sakshi that is mistaken for Kartrutvam, Kartrutvam is Samsari. Sakshi is not. Bhoktrutvam is Samsari. Sakshi is not. Jnatrutvam is Samsari. Sakshi is not. So this distinction must be there very clearly. Otherwise, the way they present, it looks that Pramatrutvam is not Samsari. They make Pramatrutvam as a Nityam alone. They talk of only Jnanam, and that's all. Ignore without touching the Pramatrutvam. Pramatrutvam is also Adhyastha because Atma is not Pramatru. That is important. Okay, we were discussing how Pramana Prameya Vyavahara is Adhyasika. In Pramana Prameya Vyavahara, Pramatrutvam too should be included. So, those who have studied the epistemology, that is Pramana Shastram, whether in Tarka Shastra, in Sankhya's also talk of, if you study the Sankhya Karika along with what is his name, what is that? Sankhya Tattva Kaumudi. If you have studied Vaisheshika, Nyaya, that is Tarka Shastra, in that Pramana Shastra occurs is a major portion. In Nyaya Shastra, Pramanas, how many Pramanas, how they function, what is Pramata, what is Pramana, what is Prameya, all that comes in that Tarka Shastra. In Sankhya, if you study Sankhya Tattva Kaumudi, they also discuss Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, Shabda Pramana, Pramata Pramana, Prameya, they also discuss. Mimamsakas also discuss Pramana, Pramata, Prameyam, all that thing. Then when it comes to Vedanta, among the post-Shankarites, there is a Vedanta Paribhasha. There is a book written by Dharmaraja Adhvarindra, Vedanta Paribhasha. That too discusses elaborately. 75% of the book discusses only Pramanas. Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, all that thing. Therefore, the Pramanas discussed by Vedanta book, that is Veda. Therefore, our Vedanta Paribhasha is different from that Dharmaraja Adhvarindra's Vedanta Paribhasha. Mula Vidya Vedanta Paribhasha is different. Swamiji's book is Vishuddha Vedanta Paribhasha. That's why Swamiji gave a different name. Note this difference. Swamiji's book is Vishuddha Vedanta Paribhasha, which we are discussing weekly twice, 2 days. Okay, I think Tuesdays and Thursday. Then there is another book with a similar name, slightly different, Vedanta Paribhasha by Dharmaraja Adhvarindra. Okay, but he discusses the 75% of the book, he discusses only Pramanas. Pramana, Pramata, Prameya and all that. There, in other Shastras, the Pramata, Pramana, Prameyam is defined, explained in relation with one another. Pramatrutvam is explained with reference to Pramana and Prameya. Prameya is explained with reference to Pramata and Pramana. Then Pramana is explained in relationship with, that means Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya. They are explained with relation with each other. Okay, but here we are discussing, see, we are discussing differently. The same thing you can define differently. What is Pramatru? What is Pramana? What is Prameya? The same thing can be discussed or defined from different standpoint. Here in Sugama, in this Adhyasa Bhashya, we are trying to understand how all Pramana Prameya Vyavahara is due to Adhyasa. We are not defining Pramatrutvam. Note this difference. How Vedanta Paribhasha defines, Tarka Shastra defines, Tarka Sangraha defines, then Sankhya Tattva Kaumudi defines. These three books are even what you call Puramimamsakas. Puramimamsakas Manameyodhaya. If you have studied the book, Manameyodhaya is a book of Prakarana Grantha of Puramimamsakas. Okay, so they discuss pramanas with reference to each other. That means by taking pramanas are real, pramatrutvam real, pramana real, prameya real, how pramanas function in relationship with each other, how pramanas function and pramanas produce knowledge. They are discussing there the pramanas interrelationship, how do they produce knowledge and all that. Here we are not discussing how pramana produces knowledge. We are discussing here how pramatru, pramana, prameya are adhyastha. See the difference. Pramatrutvam is adhyastha, pramana is adhyastha, prameya is adhyastha. Therefore, the entire vyavahara is due to adhyasa. This is the point, special point we are trying to understand here. We are trying to learn here. Therefore, our way of defining pramatru, pramana, prameya is different. Okay. Otherwise, you must have heard what is pramata, they define. Well, you must have heard a lot of Vedanta talks, very prevalent English medium Vedanta. You must have heard a lot of them. They define pramatru, they define pramana, they define prameya. The definitions of all these three are such that you get confused. What is that confusion? You were thinking that there is pramatru, there is pramana, there is prameya. That there is pramatru, pramana, prameya gets reinforced. That is not the point here. Adhyasam puraskritya. Innu helala. Anyway, first let me define and then touch of other Purvapakshas. Though Swamiji is not discussing here, I shall touch them, a few points. Now, what is pramatru? He says, prepsa jihasa prayuktasya pravrittihi sa pramata. A consciousness in which there is a knowership, a knower, a person is a knower, means a consciousness is a knowing consciousness, a knower consciousness. Knowing consciousness means knower. Consciousness which is a knower. Sakshi is also can be called a knower, but Sakshi's knowing is different from Pramatru's knowing. Pramatru knows, in the Pramatru's nature of knowing, there is a prepsa jihasa. There is a desire to know, there is an intention to know. Because I need a knowledge, so Pramatru is related to knowledge, one thing. And Pramatru uses the knowledge because he is interested in the knowledge, he has an intention, he has an interest, he has a motive in it. But whereas when Sakshi knows, Sakshi, it is the very nature of Sakshi and it is not a function of the Sakshi. For Pramatru, knowing is a relation, function. Knowing is a function, but function is not a right explanation. You may call it function, but it is not exactly function. It is a relation is better. Function means there is a karma. There is no will in it. Pramatru is not willing in knowing it. Therefore, you can't call it a function. Pramatru using the pramana and knowing the prameya is not a function. It is a relationship, we can say. It is a relativeness, but not a function. Function means it becomes a kriya. Kriya requires a will. But pramatrutvam is not a will. Okay? Pramata is not willing. Pramata is not willing to know the prameya. There is a knowing, that's all. Therefore, we can say pramatru, pramana, prameya are related to each other. It is a relative knowledge. Sakshi doesn't get related because there is nothing other than him to be related. Whereas the pramatru is a pramatru only when he is related with prameya. See, that means pramatrutvam is always in relationship with prameya. Note this. Pramatrutvam is always related with prameyam. In the absence of prameyam, pramatru ceases to be pramatru. Pramatru doesn't exist. That means pramatrutvam is always a relative knowledge. a relative state. It is not an independent state. Sakshitvam is an independent state. It doesn't depend upon anything other than itself. That's why there is nothing other than Sakshi. Sakshi is non-dual. Sakshi is consciousness. Okay. So, Pramatrutvam means it is a relative consciousness, and it is a specific consciousness. It is a specific knowledge. It is a sequential knowledge. It is a relative knowledge. Relative knowledge, specific knowledge, and what is that? Sequential knowledge. Pramatru knows this way. Okay, we have discussed this point in our previous class. Now let us proceed with the next. Okay. Okay. So, Pramanam. Pramatru we have studied, we have understood now. Pramatrutvam is an adhyastha on Sakshi. It is not the real nature of Sakshi. That means, as a Pramatru, when I try to know the external worldly objects, when I try to know anything other than myself, in knowing other things, I assume a state of Pramatru. Because when I assume the state of Pramatru, I am in relationship with Prameya. This relative status of Pramatrutvam is not natural to me. This relative state of Pramatrutvam, which is related to Prameya, and which is this relative state of Pramatrutvam is not natural to mind. It is not natural to consciousness, because consciousness is not related. That is the nature of consciousness. Consciousness is independently conscious. It's not related to a second thing. But Pramatru is related. That means the relativeness is adhyastam. The relativeness with Prameya is not the nature of Atma, it is adhyastha. That means the very nature of Pramatrutvam comes into existence in relation with Prameya. The very nature of Pramatrutvam comes into existence in relationship with Prameya and Pramana. That means this relative status of Pramatrutvam is not natural to Atma, it is adhyastam. Only in waking and dream you find, in deep sleep none. Therefore, Pramatrutvam is adhyastha, is not natural. That means antakarana. Consciousness, when takes antakarana and it identifies with antakarana, it becomes a Pramatru. It appears to be Pramatru. That's why it is a misunderstanding. So, perhaps Pramatru aitu. Now, what is Pramanam? Sa yena artham praminoti tat Pramanam. Pramanam is an instrument of knowledge. So, the instrument which Pramatru uses, to know some Prameya is called Pramanam. So, there are Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, there are many Pramanas. Okay, we have got 6 Pramanas, they say. Okay, whatever number of Pramanas is not a problem. We leave them. So, Pramana is a mind, a vritti. Vritti means a function of mind, a status of mind, a function of mind, a state of mind which knows something. Okay, Pramanam, Karanam Pramanam, an instrument or a state of mind or a vritti of mind, a thought form of mind which tries to know the Prameyam, which gets connected with Prameya and comes to understand the Prameya. That means it forms into Pramana. Pramana, in fact, you can't distinguish these things. Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, all these are Prama. All the 4 are one. In fact, Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, Prama. Prama is knowledge, Prameya is object of knowledge, Pramanam is the instrument of knowledge, means of knowledge, Pramatru is the knower, the knowing agent, the agent of knowing. Okay, all these four are not separate. In fact, it is one experience we are dividing for our understanding. But in our experience, you don't find four separately. You don't find these four separately. That there is a one experience, we are dividing it for our communication, for our understanding, for our analysis. For the purpose of analysis, we are dividing them. Otherwise, in the experience, they are not divided. Because when Pramatru say, Pramatru is a Pramatru only when he is related to Pramanam, when he is using Pramanam. He is using Pramanam only to know the Prameyam. Then when the Prama arises, Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, Prama, all these four constitute one indivisible experience. Not indivisible, you can say, it is, of course, it is a divided experience. It is a divided experience of multiple parts, multiple aspects in one experience constituting various parts, let us say like this. It is not a partless experience, it is an experience consisting of parts. Okay. Savayava Anubhava, Savayava Samskrita, Kannada Savayava alla. Savayava means consisting of parts. Avayavagalu ulladdu, that which contains avayavas, parts. Therefore, Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, it is a one unitary experience consisting of various parts. Okay. These four are parts of one experience. So, therefore, we are dividing them for our communication, for our analysis, for our understanding. But in experience, they come together. Though there is a slight difference, but they come together as one. Okay. So, Pramanam is therefore distinguishing them is a subtle difference. Pramanam is the vritti of the mind which relates him with the Prameya. Okay, next. So, Pratyaksha, perception is one Pramanam. That means when you are using sense organs, with the help of the sense organs, your mind gets a knowledge. Then sense organs are the Pramana. Then the inference is also Pramana. Okay, Shabda is also Pramana. Shabda means you hear the words. When you hear the words, the sentence reveals an idea. Okay. So the sentence is Pramanam. Perception is Pramanam. Your mind's inferring is Pramanam. Inferring is a function of mind. Okay. Sense organs are in touch with the external objects. They are also Pramanam. Then a sentence, any sentence is a Shabda Pramana. Because sentence reveals some idea, some thought, some meaning or idea. Okay. So these three, perception is Pramanam, inference is Pramanam, and sentence is Pramanam, Shabda Pramanam we call. Okay, now what is Prameyam? Yo arthaha prameyate tat prameyam. What is Prameyam? I think this requires more explanation. Anyway, I just touch it today and then I won't be able to complete it. We'll do it in the next class. I'll just say a little bit, another 5 minutes. Another 5 minutes alone. We are not going to say much. 24 minutes passed. I think I'll speak only half an hour. Prameyam. Prameyam is an object of knowledge. I think let us say all the four and then put together. Okay. Then Prama. What is Prama? A knowledge, an understanding about an object of knowledge is called Pramiti. Prama or Pramiti. You can say anything. Prama or Pramiti. These are the four now. One is Pramatru. Second is Pramanam. Third is Prameyam. Fourth is Pramiti. Now, Pramiti is the resultant knowledge. Pramatru is the knower. Prameya is what I want to know, object of knowledge. And pramanam is my connection, the way I connect myself with the object, the way Pramatru connects himself with the prameya is called pramana. Okay, pramana is a means is an instrument with by which he connects himself with a prameya. Then the connection, the resulting connection is prama. Okay, what is that connection? You come to understand, say this is a book. So the book is prameyam, I the knower is pramatru, that I try to know through my sense organs. So sense organ is, so we have got only roughly we can say 3 pramanas. Philosophers talk of many pramanas, but all of them can be roughly reduced into 3. One is perception, second is inference, that is mind itself, buddhi, the intellect imagines, connects the things and arrives at a conclusion. Okay, it arrives at a conclusion, that is inference. Third is the shabda, a statement of somebody, either a written statement or spoken statement. A statement reveals something, some idea. So these 3 are pramanas. Pramana is a method through which the pramatru gets connected to prameya. So the resultant connection, you come to understand this is a book. This understanding is called pramiti or prama. Okay. Now this, what is pramatru, what is pramana, what is prameyam, what is pramiti, we are not trying to understand here, because this is not Tarka Shastra, Sankhya Shastra or Puramimamsa. This is Vedanta. It is not even Mula Vidya Vedanta. It is Shankara Vedanta, Vishuddha Vedanta. Okay, Swamiji calls it as Shankara Vedanta or Vishuddha Vedanta, either of them. So in this Vishuddha Vedanta, we are not trying to understand the pramatru, pramana, prameya in relation to each other. We are trying to understand adhyasam puraskritya sarve pramana prameya vyavahara. All the vyavahara is within adhyasa. This is the point we need to understand. Okay. Now, should I start with prama? Prama means pramiti or prama, the knowledge. How knowledge is adhyasta? Knowledge is a vyavahara. Vyavahara means thought. A thought, an understanding. A thought is vyavahara. An action is vyavahara. Okay? A thinking is vyavahara. An action is vyavahara. An idea is vyavahara. All this is vyavahara. Okay? So this vyavahara, but how it is adhyasta, that is to be understood. Now let us take prama. What is prama? Prama is a knowledge of a given thing. Is knowledge adhyasta? Yes. How? The resultant knowledge, either a perception knowledge or an inferential knowledge or a knowledge arising out of a statement. In either of these 3 ways, the resultant knowledge is an adhyasta. How? Because the pure consciousness is sakshi, as you find in deep sleep. But the same consciousness when you are in waking, what do you call? The wakeful consciousness. Okay? The pure consciousness which is in deep sleep is sakshi. The same sakshi, when the waking world appears as a wakeful consciousness. The entire wakefulness. Okay? The entire, in the wakefulness there is no knowledge of a given object. See the contrast, see the difference. Knowledge of a given object is a knowledge. Knowledge of a book, knowledge of a pot, knowledge of a table, knowledge of a chair, knowledge of pen or pencil, like this. So knowledge of a given object is knowledge. But it is a knowing, that's all. It's not a knowledge of a given object that I am awake. The very wakeful state, what do you call? Wakeful state is a wakeful consciousness, waking consciousness. that is a Vaishvanara. The waking consciousness or the wakefulness is a consciousness related to the entire waking state. It is not knowing a given object. It is knowing the entire waking state in general. So this is called Chidabhasa. Okay. Chit means Chaitanyam. Chaitanya is what is obtained in the pure consciousness that is obtained in deep sleep. It is that we will discuss later. We have discussed before how deep sleep is a pure consciousness. It will come again, we will discuss. It's elaborately, it will come. So the Sushupti is pure consciousness. The same Sushupti pure consciousness appears as a Chidabhasa because in waking and dream a mind arises. Mind means the total mind, that is an Avastha mind. Avastha is a complete mind, either waking state or a dream state. The dream state means the complete mind, the entire mind. So the consciousness looked with the mind is called Chidabhasa. Abhasa means apparent consciousness, the consciousness that appears in a given situation. One is, or in other words, unconditional consciousness, conditional consciousness. Okay. A situational consciousness or consciousness as it is, not related to any situation. Not related to any situation, consciousness as it is called Sakshi. Consciousness in a given context, in a given situation or in a given condition, you call it Chidabhasa. Then what is that condition? Mind is the condition. What is the mind? State. Waking state is the mind. Dream state is the mind. State as a whole, take it. Mind means the total mind, collective mind, samashti manaha. So the consciousness as a whole waking, what is the difference between the consciousness which is in deep sleep and the consciousness in the waking state? Have you watched? In deep sleep there is pure consciousness. There is no thought of consciousness also. Okay? I am awake. There is not even a conscious thought of consciousness. Whereas in waking there is a thought of consciousness. See, I am awake. Don't you feel? In waking you are conscious of your wakefulness. You are conscious of wakefulness. In dream also you are conscious of dreaming state, dreaming consciousness. In deep sleep there is pure consciousness and you have no thought of consciousness. Okay. A thought of consciousness and a consciousness without a thought. A thought of consciousness is called Chidabhasa. The same Chittan means Chaitanyam. The same Chaitanyam which is the Sushupti Swarupam, Abhasa means appears like Chaitanyam, reflects in the mind. Mind means the total mind, the collective mind, the whole wakeful mind. The consciousness that is reflected in the entire waking state is called waking consciousness. The consciousness reflected in the entire dream state is called dream consciousness. Within the dream consciousness, the entire world, subject, object, things, time, place, anything, everything exists in the dream consciousness. Similarly, the entire waking state exists in the waking consciousness, wakeful consciousness, whatever you say. So, the pure consciousness is Sakshi, the wakefulness is Chidabhasa. Then, now the pure consciousness is called a wakeful consciousness or otherwise called Chidabhasa with reference to the entire waking state. That is the entire mind. Now, the same entire waking state or the same total mind when it is paying attention to given object like a book or table or chair or anything. When you are paying attention to given object, then it becomes a Vishesha Vritti. Pustakakara Vritti, Gode Akara Vritti, the Vritti in corresponding with the table, corresponding with book, corresponding with pot, corresponding with many things. So the same mind assumes two things. The mind in a general sense or a total sense. The waking state as a whole, if you take it, the mind is assuming a general state. the general awareness of the whole state. Now the same mind, it assumes a thought of a given object. Thought of a given object. When it assumes a thought of a given object, then you call it jnanam or vritti. This is called pramiti or prama. Okay, pramatru gets related to prameya, that when that relation is established, that means I see an object, I see something. I am the seer, I see something. I am the knower, I know something. When you look at a book and that understanding arises, oh, this is a book, I know. Once you say this is a book, a knowledge takes place. Knowledge takes place means what? Pramatru gets related with prameyam. Once relation is established, there is a prama, there is a knowledge. Okay. So, Chidabhasa itself is adhyastha, because the pure Chaitanyam consciousness, when it assumes the entire waking state, it appears as Chidabhasa. The same Chidabhasa, that means the same wakeful consciousness, is present behind every object. When it is a book, knowledge of a book, knowledge of pot, knowledge of chair, knowledge of table, knowledge, each knowledge means a specific thought about a given object. Okay, a specific thought about a given object. But if you take as a waking as a state whole, it is not knowing a specific object, it is knowing the whole waking state in a general sense. Therefore, Chidabhasa is consciousness appearing through the mind. Then Vritti Jnana is, a Vishaya Jnana is the same consciousness which appeared as Chidabhasa, becomes a little more specific about a particular object. Okay, it becomes specific about a particular object. Then you call it Ghata Jnanam, Pata Jnanam, knowledge of a cloth, knowledge of a book, knowledge of a table, knowledge of chair, knowledge of pot, so on. Okay, so this is called Adhyastha. Pramana Prameya Vyavahara is Adhyastha. So Prama is also Adhyastha. That's what he wants to say. Prama means the resultant knowledge is also within Adhyasa. What is the resultant knowledge? I know this pen. This is pen, is my understanding. This understanding requires a Pramatru to know. And Pramana, naturally perception is the Pramana. Prameya is the book or a pencil or pen, whatever the object of knowledge. Then what is the Prama? Your mind, your understanding faculty assumes the shape of that object. Then you come to know. Okay? Therefore, Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, all these come into vogue only through mind. Without the mind, as in deep sleep, there is no difference between Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya. All these four don't exist. You are pure consciousness. What is pure consciousness? Appears as divided into Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya. Because in Prama means a knowledge of a given object, there is a Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa and a specific knowledge. Vishaya Jnana and Chidabhasa. See the distinction. Chidabhasa means the same consciousness appearing as a whole waking state is Chidabhasa. When it appears as a given object, when there is a knowledge of a given object, then it is a Vishaya Jnana. So here Vishaya Sambandha is required, Antakarana Sambandha is required. For Chidabhasa, Antakarana Sambandha. For Vishaya Sambandha, again Indriyas are required. Therefore, Indriya or mind or anything. So, when a specific knowledge of a specific object takes place, we call it Vishaya Jnana. So, in these things, all these are Adhyastha, Adhyasam Puraskritya Sarve Pramana Prameya Vyavahara, because the pure consciousness doesn't have a division. Now, I'll just say a small point and conclude for today. Okay. What is the other point? Prameya. What is Prameya? Prameya is also Adhyastha. Prameya means object of knowledge. Object of knowledge is also within the Adhyasa, within the wakeful consciousness alone. That means The same consciousness appears as a prameya, appears as a pramana, appears as a pramana through one thought. The same consciousness appears as a pramana, appears as a prama, appears as a prameya. When you see it as a prameya, it is the consciousness superimposed by idam thought of this. When there is a thought of this as imposed on the consciousness, you call it a vishaya, you call it an object. Tell me, what are the objects? Book and pen and pencil, wall and a tree and people, what are all they? We think these are solidly existing there. No. They are only perceived. During the perception, you see them, they are objects. They are perceived as objects. They don't exist as objects. Note it. Worldly objects perceived as objects. Because in waking state, the objects are perceived through the wakeful consciousness. That means they are perceived as objects. They are known as objects. Okay, they don't exist as objects. What exists? Brahman alone exists. It is a pure consciousness that exists. Consciousness exists on its own, but appears as an object. So objectness is only an appearance through mind. Therefore, prameya, object of knowledge, is a vyavahara. Vyavahara means is due to adhyasa. Object of knowledge is due to adhyasa. Subject is adhyasa. The relation is object. Subject is adhyasta. Object is adhyasta, their relation is adhyasta, the resultant specific knowledge, specific thought is also adhyasta. So all this is adhyasam puraskritya, aitalla. Because in the absence of adhyasa, like in deep sleep, you don't have any experience of pramatru, pramana, prameya. Pramatru, pramana, prameya experience obtains only in dream and waking state. Okay. It obtains only in dream and waking state. In deep sleep it doesn't, because there is no upadhi, there is no adhyasa, there is no misunderstanding. Misunderstanding means taking it differently. The same pure consciousness is taken to be different from what it is. So in this taking to be different is a thought. In that thought alone you find the entire world, subject, object, time, place, conditions, everything. Therefore the entire vyavahara of jnanam, pramatru, pramana, prameya is within adhyasa. Without adhyasa nothing would happen. And in the pure consciousness, that's why there is nothing other than itself. Okay, now we have discussed these four are vyavahara siddham. Vyavahara means due to adhyasa. Without adhyasa they don't exist. Here Post-Shankarites say Vishaya first should be there, then the vyavahara takes place. See, it is Bhashyakara clearly says pramana, prameya, vyavahara is also within adhyasa. They say prameya should exist before adhyasa. Strange thing. They say snake must exist before I come to see it. Vedanta says seeing the snake itself is vyavahara, is adhyasta. They say, example I am giving in the illustration, they say even that Vishaya Jnanam, object knowledge, it exists before adhyasa, they say. Vishaya exists and then you come to see, you come to know it due to adhyasa. Bhashyakara say, this is what they say, but this is wrong, because you cannot prove the existing of object without knowing it. Without yourself being a pramata, you cannot think of prameya. Note this, this is most important. Nobody can think of a prameya without yourself being pramatru. That means adhyasa has come into picture. Adhyasa has come into picture. Only within adhyasa, pramatru, pramana, prameya function. Okay. Therefore, prameyatvam, object of knowledge, is within adhyasa. Pramana is of course within adhyasa. The prama knowledge which arises is also adhyasa, because the same consciousness is appearing as a pramatru, pramana, prameya and prama. Appearing wrongly due to adhyasa. This is the point we discussed today. I think I am tired. We'll discuss in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.